Never a dull moment at one Jets drive. We got news. Okay, news yesterday, news today. But if you're a forward thinker, all right, you're already thinking about the game on Sunday at 1 p.m., like almost every game has been, because we stink. Okay, so there are questions to answer, there's news to react to, and you're going to see it all live because it's Boy Green meets Wudi.
Can you guys help us get a jet chant here? Yeah, going.
Oh.
Okay, right, yeah. Come on in.
Yeah.
Go. Okay, let's go! Let's
go! Third Party Thursday.
Chris joining us here on the program with a capital P here on the program.
Jake Asman, come on down. How you doing, good sir?
Wow, what an intro. I mean, the Boy Green is known for having the intro, but Wudi, that was unreal, man. Thanks for the kind words, son.
We are men of many names.
My favorite Austrian Jets fan right there, baby.
Boy Green
meets Wudi. Welcome to another edition of Boy Green Meets Wudi. It is your boy James Wudi, and you already know we are Wudi, rocking everywhere. Bringing us the new moves is the man you already know, the boy who became king. My God, rocking Notre Dame. Don't talk to me about Jeremiah Love today, please. It is Mr. Paul Esden Jr. How you doing, my good sir?
I'm going to be honest. I'm a little bit in pain from that Trevor Lawrence smackdown by 4 touchdowns, and it gave me flashbacks to 2020, winning 2 games at the end of the season. And then we ended up with Zach Wilson, who's on his 3rd team in 3 years, and Trevor Lawrence is doing things no other quarterback in the history of football has ever done with 6 touchdowns before.
Is he on his 3rd team?
He is. Jets, Broncos, Dolphins.
Broncos, damn. That's how irrelevant that boy has been to me. The Broncos, god damn.
Yeah, that happened. Yeah, it did. So, there you have it. So, yeah, it's been a whirlwind. And again, it's the NFL. What happens if this, or the other? I don't know what that universe looks like with Goldilocks and the green and white, but I was wishing that on Sunday when we were getting our ass beat. So, I'm going to be honest. A little painful, but that's all right. Hey, by the time we get here to Tuesday, we're asking questions for the next game coming forward. And so we've got a lot to get to there, Woodster.
Well, I would say if you're trying to, prop up Trevor as this, winning prize, I'm not sure if you want to give, Trevor the credit or Steve Wilkes-Booth the blame. Because Trevor never, had a game like that leading into it. I was even trying to hype up for the Wudi 3, which is displayed on both of our channels. I had a cute little thing, Trevor ending story, was going to pull up some stats, and I was like, damn, his stats stink. Like, he's not, he doesn't, he barely gets over 200 yards. Sometimes he'll have, 2 touchdowns, but he throws a lot of picks. He's not really doing much in the run game. So I was very unimpressed with Trevor Lawrence's stats. But, of course, he goes against that traitor, who's gone now from the New York Jets. And, he looks fantastic. So I wouldn't keep beating ourselves off of that. And, for me, I'd never even thought about that because Sam Darnold was my guy through and through. Still can't believe they got rid of him.
That's true. I guess there's a lot of different facets where things could have went if they did this or did this. But let me ask you this, Woody, because we'll get into our questions here. And there's a lot of news that will work into some of these questions. And one of the news items that happened today seems to indicate something else, and it's this. So the Jets cut Adrian Martinez, our legend. Salute to Adrian Martinez. They cut him today from the practice squad. Now, that would seemingly indicate, if they're moving on from Adrian, that one of either Justin Fields or Tyrod Taylor is healthy enough to be an option for the Jets. Brady Cook just got his first start for the Jets. I ask you this as we get ready for this New Orleans Saints toilet bowl, as Hep calls it, in Week 16. who is playing quarterback? Because AG hasn't had to make this choice yet. With Brady showing anything, whatever we want to say about that, we could get into that later. But whatever Brady showed, we have not had AG going, okay, I've seen what Brady is. Now either Tyrod or Justin, in theory, is healthy enough to go. Do one of those two start? Is it Brady? Who's going to be the starting quarterback on Sunday against the Saints? Wudi, with this latest news information today with Martinez leaving.
Well, obviously, that would greatly depend on who is the healthy QB. Like we're done with Fields. Done with Fields. So with that being said, maybe they want to give Tyrod the nod again. Get some plays out there for the receivers, but to Brady's credit, he was out there putting the ball in play for the receivers. So if you want to keep playing that game, and seems like a few people in the building seem to think very highly of him, that would probably be the move. Let's give Brady a start in which we hope, theoretically that the defense isn't allowing, 40 points. Let's see what he can do in a situation like that. He was 6 for 6, 51 yards and a touchdown, to make the game 14-7. And then we blinked twice, and Steve Wilkes Booth allowed, his defense allowed 31 points at half. So that's definitely where I'm leaning. I know that might seem like a change, but I've always been about, let's give the players, like the pass catchers, the best chance to develop. I want to see if AD Mitchell can be a potential wide receiver 2 or 3 on this team. Same thing with Mechie. Mason Taylor, was out, but, just developing these guys. And if Brady Cook can do that, then, we can cook.
All right, let me quickly peel back all these layers just to make sure we get all the Wudi cards on the table. So, because again, we don't know. Well, first off, do you reach? Let's break down each piece. Do you reach the same conclusion that I do with Adrian Martinez getting cut? That seems to indicate Tyrod or Justin is healthy. Do you agree with that assessment?
Yes.
Okay. So we don't know which of the two it is, but you believe that if Justin Fields is the one that is the healthiest, he is absolutely not starting for the Jets at quarterback on Sunday.
That is correct.
If Tyrod is the healthy guy, could you see AG benching him in place for Brady Cook?
Yes, that was, I guess, the last thing that I was saying.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I was just wondering if he actually did do it, because again, we still don't know, so it's somewhat speculative at this point whether or not that happens. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, that's AG's. That's his favorite place to be in the mystery of the QB situation. He loves this game. My God. So let him be in his glee.
Fair enough. Woodster.
Well, did you want to take a stab at your own question?
Oh, sure. I mean, if you're going to push me, absolutely I will. It is this. I'm afraid. I want Brady Cook to keep going because, again, Tyrod's 36. I don't think Justin's coming back next year as a QB2 despite his contract, and I see CBW is asking several questions about his contract situation, so I guess let me bring that up as we're talking about Justin here. CBW. Okay, so what's up? What's up? A little R-Truth action. Appreciate that. Hey. CBW. Can it be Fields' risk injury, and thus what would his contract situation be? The Jets owe him the guaranteed portion of the money. So, yeah, if it was some serious injury where he couldn't play at all and then they cut it, I would have to know what the injury is. What are we talking about for hurt? What level of hurt are we talking about? If it's just a knee sprain and he's out for a handful of weeks, no. But if his leg shatters into pieces, I guess that could be a risk that they may want to just avoid for the additional guarantees on Justin Fields, because there is a level of dead money. But they are, no matter injury or not, already indebted to him for $10 million at least for the 2026 season. So for sure, the injury reason and the fact that he's not going to be here, in my opinion, I think for all those reasons, he shouldn't play. So I'd put that out there. But the thing I'm afraid of is what is the other choice? If Tyrod's healthy, AG seems to like Tyrod a lot. And the only reason they went to Brady was because Tyrod was hurt. So if Tyrod is the one that's healthy, I'm afraid of what he could do because AG is captain, whoever gives us the best chance to win. And I would assume if we put Brady and Tyrod both out there, now maybe people will make an argument for Brady, but I would imagine AG thinks that Tyrod gives them the best chance. Because if not, like, what are we doing? So unless AG changes his messaging, which again, when he was asked last week, the week before, whoever gives us the best chance to win. If that's true, then I think it's going to be Tyrod. If that's not true, and he's like, hey man, we're 3-11, I think it's going to be Brady Cook. So that's a lot of caveats to say. I think Brady Cook is going to be starting on Sunday.
That was a lot of caveat. Are you? Because you said the word afraid. Are you afraid of Tyrod starting?
I am. Well, I mean, I guess Tyrod. It's like a ticking time bomb. Eventually, he's going to get hurt, and Brady's going to come back into the game anyway. But I guess the fear is like, hey, Brady sort of has a thing going here where he's getting these QB1 reps, which I think are super important for Brady. He's shown me a little bit of chutzpah. I don't love the interceptions that he's Oprah Winfrey out there with the football, and he has 5 picks, and 3 of the 5 are in the red zone area. I hate that. But I do like that he seems to have some moxie. He doesn't seem to be scared of the moment. He doesn't seem like a deer in headlights. It seems like he has some poise to him, that he's just operating an offense, and that part to me is sort of intriguing, and I want to see more. And again, I don't think Tyrod's going to be here next year anyway. So with 3 games left to go, I'd rather see Brady.
Gotcha. I will definitely ask my question. And I actually asked a similar question last week. And I'm not sure. I feel like now I'm more confused. So let me bring up this player once more. As my guy is in pursuit. We, not even that long ago, a month ago, November 9th, we were talking about, wow, on pace for 1,254 rushing yards. I put it on my Instagram. Now with 3 games left, my guy's at 900. 900. But like last game, I mean, it's hard to blame the coaching staff because my man was averaging 1.9 yards per carry. But obviously, as the game progressed, it became Isaiah Davis' season, and he, was able to have a good statistical output. So the question is, does this regime, do you think, care about that 1,000-yard rushing mark? The previous regime cared, but just couldn't do math. So, there you go. But they cared. Like they were trying to do it. They're like, ha, we got it. We're wrong. This regime, like, do they see what's happening? 900 yards, 3 games to go. Are they going to feed the beast?
That is still one of the craziest things of all time. That Breece Hall got 37 carries in that game. 37 carries, and they think they got it, high five and all this, and then the guy in the back, excuse me, just check the calculator. I'm sorry, but we I still can't believe that happened. That's somewhat unbelievable. But long story short, I don't think it's important to this staff for Breece Hall, but maybe that's how it happens, right? It was so important to the last staff, and they couldn't do it. That's so unimportant that maybe it just sort of randomly happens. They're like, oh, all right, nice. And maybe not thinking about it as much will do it. But it is crazy that Breece Hall was on pace for this career season, and it's all been a lot of hoopla since. He has 3 100-yard rushing games this season. We haven't seen a Breece Hall 100-yard rushing game since I think it was week 8 against the Bengals. And we're week 16. So that's an unfortunate reality. I hope for Breece's sake he gets it. I don't know if this is Breece Hall's last run with the Jets or not. And that's the thing I also struggle with. Is Breece Hall just wildly inconsistent? Or is it like the Jaguars defense, like Breece Hall ain't going to be his? If the undrafted free agent making his first start beats us, so be it. And maybe they just hounded in on Breece and Brees didn't have success against these loaded boxes, and then that's all she wrote. And then the score got so out of hand so quick, the Jets had no other choice but to get away from the run game and make Brady Cook throw 30 times. So that's another thing I'm curious about. Is there some fall off here from Brees? Is it the coaching staff? Is it who they're playing against? Is it their quarterback situation? I'm not sure. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't think it's important at all to the staff. But 3 games, 100 yards. I mean, if Brees can't get it now, I don't know when he's ever going to get it unless he goes to some other team like somebody else. I was going to say the Chiefs, but like with Patrick Mahomes' leg exploding, maybe not. But wherever it is, yeah, maybe it'll be somewhere else. But yeah, I don't think it doesn't seem important at all. I just go back to that AG owners meeting. We got 3 running backs. Hey, coach, what do you think of that Brees Hall guy? Yeah, we got 3 great backs. Yeah, but Brees, yeah, I said we have 3 great backs. We're going to use them all. Like it was just all the way from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that quote, and I remember you bringing that quote up a lot. But if you've seen like preseason and then the regular season, it was clear that Brees was number one. I mean, Isaiah wasn't even getting burned when Braylon Allen was still alive. But that injury has opened the door for Isaiah Davis to exist. But it's been Brees' show. I think. I love my guy Tanner Engstrand. I have all these positive things to say about him. But if you look at those 100-yard rushing games, a common denominator between those games is that he also was involved as a receiver, as a pass catcher. I think recently, that really hasn't been the case besides the Ravens game, and that wasn't until super late in the game, and he immediately got going. Brees, to me, has always been a volume runner. He's not somebody who was gonna have 8 carries for 80 yards. Like some of these faster elusive backs. This is a volume runner who's just physical. He's violent. 20 touches and then he has 100 yards. And it's 20 touches, right? So that could be 15 carries, 5 catches. And that's, I'm looking at the ESPN sheet right now, like that has been the common denominator. And very recently, he got 1 target, 2 targets, 2 targets. He hasn't been featured. Now his carries have gone down as well. So to, I guess, also jump in, I guess they don't care. I think they do care about the player. And going back to that Ravens game, that was a Ravens game where he was going off all of a sudden with the receiving, and then had the fumble, and AG was right there. And that's a coach who normally is screaming at people, yelling at them for making mistakes. Did the exact opposite for Brees. I do think there's a care there. I do think there's a love there. His comments after that game, show more of a or paint a better picture, in my opinion, than the comments that you keep going back to from that owners meeting. And I think they would like to keep him, but I think the bigger issue is, does he want to come back? And I feel like trying to get him a 1,000-yard season is a great way to inspire him to want to come back. The team stinks, and it's been a bad team the entire time that he's been here, but it seems, this was his first time going 0-7. Like, this team right now is, in my opinion, rock bottom of Brees Hall's short window with the Jets. They don't have a DC. They don't have a defense. They don't have a QB. There's not even like a, at least there was the hope of Rodgers. There's none of that, So why would Brees stay? And I think a good reason would be the human connection of, hey, these coaches care about me. They got me this milestone. But I would agree with you that they probably don't care, and they're probably going to lose him. And then, we're going to be talking about dude from your hat, Mr. Love. Yeah, it's a sad day.
Speaking of sad, people in the back, hit the music.
Oh my God.
There's
You've
another
been waiting for this.
There's another question. There's another question I have to get to. We're streaming live on 5 different destinations: my Facebook page, my YouTube page, my Twitter page, your Instagram page, Woody, and Take Flight Talk. My next question has something to do with Take Flight Talk, and I'd like to bring it up here. Will you be holding a moment of silence for Alan Lazard on Take Flight Talk this week?
No, I will not.
Oh, Jesus.
But it's just crazy. I never understood it. I don't think I will understand it, but I guess it's all in the past now. Just the pure hate and vitriol that you guys have for an NFL player who tried to help us win games. Or not? If I said you, yeah, of course. What do you mean? Yes. That's an inarguable point. He played hard for us.
Maybe.
Yeah.
There were some work ethic questions. Connor Hughes tweeted out today that he had practice habits that rub people the wrong way in the building. There was effort questions during games. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like now we twist the knife, right? That's the society that we live in, twisting the knife. I mean, last year he literally led the NFL in touchdowns until he got hurt, like the entire league. And I just think that obviously he had some drops. A.D. Mitchell, his first game with the Jets, he had a bajillion drops, and not one person. And I'm not saying he deserved to, because clearly I'm trying to say that everybody, deserves some respect for what they can do. But yeah, AD, showing love. John Mechie, the very next game, who didn't have fingers and, still got his love. But, Alan Lazard, for some odd reason, became Osama bin Laden to the fan base, despite, having good plays, being a great run blocker. A lot of the biggest, runs of Brees's career, Lazard, he's running behind Alan Lazard. So no moment of silence, and I hope he goes to a place where he just is better respected, because New York clearly isn't it.
All right, let's just address this. I see CBW saying, how fast does Lazard sign with Pittsburgh? LOL. For those who don't know, and some people don't, even veterans in the middle of the season must clear waivers. So he is subject to waivers now that he's been released. The Jets officially announced that earlier today. So any of the other 31 teams have a chance to claim him. If they do, he automatically has to go to that team. We need no example clearer than Darius Slay. Pittsburgh moved on from Darius Slay. He wanted to go back to the Eagles, but the Bills claimed him off waivers, so they owned his rights. Darius Slay's like, I think I want to retire now. And Buffalo's like, all right. So they're just holding his rights. He's on the did not report list, so he can't sign with the Eagles. The Bills keep holding his rights. He was a veteran. In the middle of seasons, you're subject to waivers. And even if the Bills cut him to try to let him go to the Eagles, he'd be subject to waivers again to then be claimed potentially by any other team, which is cruel and unusual punishment. So Lazard, I have no idea if he's going to be claimed or not. I have no idea. I love the Jordan Schultz. I love Jordan, but he used a lot of interesting terminology when he said that Lazard was cut. He says, hey, an intriguing option just entered the wide receiver market. A contender could get a guy that could sort of help out here. We'll see. I don't know. So, yes, Pittsburgh makes a lot of sense, but we'll see where he goes, CBW. Again, he is subject to waivers even in the middle of the season, just to explain
that. Yeah, we'll see where he goes. I do think he would be a solid option for any of these contenders, maybe even the Ravens. But we've been trying to link, receivers to the Ravens for years. They just are very happy just not having talent at that position. I don't know what they do it, maybe I'm trying to think. Oh, maybe actually probably not. I was gonna say the Broncos, but Sean Payton probably not.
Let me give you a follow-up question. What was your favorite memory of the Alan Lazard tenure with the New York Jets?
Probably the Hail Mary.
Oh, the Bills one. Okay, ended the first half. Okay.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the few games, and since like B. Marsh and Eric Decker, that we had 2 100-yard receivers in the same game. So that's a pretty impressive stat. It was obviously a pretty impressive catch, and a great play, of a very exciting game. Actually, that was a close game. That a couple of Zerline kicks here, a couple of plays there, could have won. But of course, we didn't have a head coach, so odds were stacked against him.
Well, 2 memories. We were at one of them, Jets Patriots week 3 last year. Lazard dragging a few defenders. It wasn't quite Brandon Marshall or Braylon Edwards-ish, of dragging Patriot defenders into the end zone. But he did do that on the left corner for one of the touchdowns. We got to celebrate and dance too. So that's a good one. And Al Lazard, naturally, of course, caught Aaron Rodgers' first touchdown pass as a member of the Jets. It didn't happen in 2023 because of the Achilles. So 2024, he comes back on Monday Night Football, and he gets the 49ers to jump on a free play, and he throws to Al Lazard. Now, unfortunately, the score was very much obtuse when that finally happened, unfortunately. But, yes, there's another goodie. So some great Lazard memories there. Salute to Al Lazard, who is shout out to Zach Rosebud who gave the stat. Al Lazard was second in drop rate in the National Football League of any wide receiver in football during his tenure here at the Jets. Minimum 100 targets. So, Al Lazard, salute.
Okay. You did have some. I was surprised that there was even positivity in there.
There you go.
So, I was expecting, but yeah, now he's gonna go somewhere where they're gonna not completely disrespect him. So speaking about respect, and this actually has nothing to do with respect, but life after Wilkes, Chris Harris. I know my answer, and I can guess your answer, but the question is about AG's answer. Is there any chance, and greater than 0%, that Chris Harris is a DC next year?
Great question. Zach Rosenblatt says that Chris Harris is going to have a legitimate shot to earn that DC job. To try to answer your question is like another question, like, with 3 games left to go, in 6 days, heads up on the next game, which is New Orleans, what can he change? It brings me back to week 6 last year when Saleh got fired and they went to Jeff Ulbrich, and one of his first big changes was going to Todd Downing to be the offensive play caller instead of Hackett. And we got this immediate pop from Downing. Now, it's a little different on offense. You have the play sheet, you're calling the plays, and you can call whatever you want. On defense, you're reacting to what the offense presents you. So it is a bit different, but I'm glad this was, to me, I talked about it on Boy Green Daily this week. I didn't think Aaron Glenn was going to fire Wilkes middle of the season because I thought it could only be bad things for the most part, outside of the silver lining I'll bring up. Because if AG takes it over and the Jets defense immediately looks better, people are like, why the hell didn't you do this sooner, buddy? And then he catches heat. If he took it over and they were the same or worse, Jesus, I thought this was supposed to be some sort of a defensive genius. I guess not. So it's all bad. The only silver lining I saw before this news all became official was, I said, if AG fires Wilkes and immediately gives the role of play calling duties to Chris Harris, okay, then you get a shot to evaluate whatever he brings to the table. So that is what he did. So that gives you some love, because we saw how it worked out when Jeff Ulbrich tried to balance head coaching and defensive coordinator duties. Jeff Ulbrich admitted after the fact that was one of his biggest regrets of doing it, and being too late. There's nothing he could do once he sort of pot committed to it. So I think Chris Harris has 0.1% chance of being the full-time DC next year, I think it's minuscule because I have no idea what the hell he's possibly going to show. Now, wouldn't this be the most hilarious thing of all time? The Jets get 5 interceptions against the Saints. We're like, oh, Wilkes is the problem. Oh, beautiful. Thanks, Chris Harris. You're the man. So with that unlikely, I think it is extremely unlikely that Chris Harris is a guy long-term. I think it's going to be, I don't know if it has to be a big, sexy name, but AG just has to get it right after effing up on Steve Wilkes. AG has blood on his hands for obviously that not working out.
The buckets of blood. I would say in terms of, what can he change? I would say, the Connor Hughes tweet, I want to say from yesterday. Maybe it was no, it had to have been yesterday because that was when the news dropped. Was talking about, how Wilkes, he wasn't allowing players to really, think. It was okay, stay in your gaps, let the scheme take care of it. That's a direct quote from Wilkes. So maybe that's like the, empowering these guys to make decisions and use their instincts. I know for an all-pro like Quincy Williams, that was a huge thing. He would always talking about, his instincts. He watching the videos of Jaguars, before every game and all that type of stuff. Like, like he is a hunter. And he in his all-pro season was one of the best linebackers in coverage in the NFL. And now you look at his coverage this year and people are like, yo, like, what is this guy doing? And I think when you make people think too much, it really constricts their entire ability to play the entire game. And I think that's what it is. Steve Wilkes, old man Wilkes trying to, you got to do it this way or the hard way. What the scheme do. No. Don't think. Don't have free thought. No, this is what you have to do. So now people are on the field. They're like, oh, okay, what do I have to do? Oh, I have to stay in this lane right here. But if Chris Harris opens up the freedom of thought, I think there are enough talented players, and we might see a Quincy Williams interception, like you said, like, oh, maybe we see an interception. We might, I think he has everything. But if you're making him overthink, and no one's going to be good in that situation. So I think, we can see a difference. All this positivity I'm saying toward the situation doesn't mean that I think that Chris Harris should or will be the DC, but I think we will see improvement because Steve Wilkes is just that bad. Like he was just that bad, and when you got rotten, meat in the fridge, it makes the whole fridge stink, so now you've thrown out that meat and addition by subtraction, I think the defense will look better under Chris Harris. And I think there are philosophical things that he could change right here, right now, that can translate on the field.
Yeah, that's what happened in the Jeffrey Dahmer Netflix documentary. The meat in the fridge, caused a whole situation. That's apparently how one of the big things he got caught. So you never want to be doing that. You never want to be doing that.
I'm not sure if that's the same type of meat that I was referring to.
All right, let me throw this one at you because it was on my list and it's in the same vein. Okay, Chris Harris, you're the guy. You're calling plays. You've got 3 games here. Thankfully, the easiest of the 3 comes immediately where you have the least amount of time to prepare in terms of New Orleans, and then Patriots, Bills, back-to-back. What are your expectations, Wudi, for Chris Harris with 3 games to go and he takes over? You talked about some of the things you think could be changed with him taking over the operation, but what are your actual expectations for what we're going to see on Sunday and, quite frankly, and the other 2 games as well?
Well, meet other friends. I'm definitely expecting a better performance. Right. I am not expecting, I'm expecting the Jets to allow less than 30 points these next 3 games. Even with the Patriots trying to fight, the Bills trying to fight, I want to spoil their playoff hopes. I want to spoil, the first seed for the Patriots. They fighting with the Broncos. I'm trying to spoil all that. like the meat in the fridge. You know what I'm saying?
Full circle.
Yeah.
All connected.
So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, and that's what I expect Chris Harris to do because the team, and I know they're banged up. Like that's, we lost so many players throughout the year, but then also recently, Az Thomas is out. Like I understand the situation, but the pass rush has been awful. Like all year it has been completely disgusting. Will gets his 3 sacks in a game, every now and then. But if they can improve that, that's the best way you protect your young corners is to get in the QB's face. So let's see some of that. So that's also my expectation because you have the personnel like Will McDonald, unless is Will trash? Like I've seen the fan base kind of turn on Jermaine Johnson, and say, if we can get a 2 for him, like. So I've kind of seen the fan base turn on these players, but is it the players or is it the stank of Steve Wilkes? And we're gonna find that out these next 3 games. But I expect, or I believe that they are talented players, so I expect them to perform with Chris Harris at the helm.
The crazy thing is that it's Jermaine thing. Okay, you want to criticize Will? I'm going to do a whole Boy Green Daily this week on some wild stats you won't believe on Will, and we'll talk about that. And fine, if you want to have the criticisms of Will, I get it. Jermaine Johnson came off a blown Achilles, and before the deadline, hell no, we wouldn't trade him. A 2, suck it. We would never take a 2. Jermaine's our guy. And then immediately after, this Jermaine guy, no burst. He sucks. Can we get anything for him in the offseason? I'm like, whoa. How did we flip so quick? How did the script change? He's coming off a blown Achilles. Shouldn't we give him a little bit of grace that, okay, you guys are pointing at pressure numbers and this, that, or the other? Like, I don't know, man. I feel like there should be more of what I just asked the universe for, grace. Like, I don't think it's fair to judge Jermaine Johnson. I thought anything from this year was going to be a big shoulder shrug. I had no idea what was going to come, and whether it was good, bad, or indifferent, I think we just had to properly assess it. And I think that was another mistake, whether it was AG or Wilkes, that Jermaine in his first game back played 89% of the snaps. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And then he re-injures himself, and then he's gone for a chunk of the season, and the whole year is a wash, and it's all thrown all over the place. So I don't understand the people that are coming for Jermaine's throat and doing all this crazy stuff. I just don't understand the script. And to your point, let's see who is ultimately the defensive coordinator. Are we doing 3-4? Are we doing 4-3? Are we changing everything? Who's staying? Who's gone? There's just so many questions at this point, but I just don't get the Jermaine Johnson disrespect just because you brought it up. That's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you heard me talk about the defense ever before, you would know that I am also appalled, I guess, with the Jermaine Johnson disrespect. Will McDonald disrespect. I can't lie. I've been there. So, I can't hate as much. But for Jermaine, I think he's great in the run game, great in the pass game. Like you said, coming off a torn Achilles, doesn't seem like he was used right whatsoever. So we'll see what happens, moving forward. I believe there was a comment that I was. Oh yeah, shout out to Sharon. When I posted my Steve Wilkes reaction on Tape Flight Talk yesterday, she commented Steve Wilkes boots. So that's why I've been using it. I told her, I said, I'm definitely using this on Boy Green Meets Wudi. Arguably the greatest. I can't believe that all year we have not been calling this man Steve Wilkes booth because he really assassinated our entire defense, assassinated President Sauce Gardner, and my guy Quentin Williams out here catching interceptions on what was that, Sunday Night Football. Come on now, yeah. Quentin's been fantastic, and I've some of you guys disrespect. They washed. Quentin's best days are behind him. The dude is 27 years old. What are you talking about? Best days behind him? What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? And he's been fantastic for the Cowboys. So Steve Wilkes Booth, the greatest terror to New York City since. I'll let your imagination finish that sentence.
Oh my. Yeah, a lot to unpack with that. Was and this may be obvious, but was the hiring of Steve Wilkes a mistake? And then you go back to the AG mindset of where he was and hiring Steve Wilkes, and was the calibration right? Was it the right church, wrong pew? Was the experienced defensive coordinator who has previous NFL head coaching experience the right type? He just picked the wrong guy, right? Like a lot of us are dreaming of, some of us, Raheem Morris, former NFL head coach and current NFL head coach. We'll see what happens. But longtime defensive coordinator, he could be the guy. So again, was it right church, wrong pew, James Wudi?
I have never heard that expression before, so that's hilarious to me.
Thank you.
And well, you didn't come up with the expression.
I just thought I'd take credit for it, but
yeah, no, you don't deserve it. But I do think that was very sound. Like, I liked the decision at the time. If we find whatever episode it was, like the date and time, I'm pretty sure I said, "Wow, great move by AG," because you do have a head coach in there that is a coach in there that has head coaching experience. Because remember, that was the number one thing I was requiring for the Jets' new head coach hire, was that they are not yet another first-time head coach like all the other ones, excluding Adam Gase. So I didn't want that happen anyway. But now you got Steve Wilkes in the building to help, right? So at the time, I did applaud the decision. Did I think the defense would look like the same as Salah? No, I actually tried to warn you time and time again. And I remember you saying, "What? How is the defense? We have an all-pro on every level," right? Did that sound like you?
We did have no longer, but we did have a former all-pro at every level of the defense. That was a fact.
I know. I mean, it's a fact, but coaching matters in the NFL. And for Kyle Shanahan to just Uncle Phil to DJ Jazzy Jeff, throw him out of the San Francisco 49ers. No, but that's what he did. He literally threw him out of the facility with the defensive pieces that they had, and they were struggling so bad. And again, he was taking over a defense that was kind of built by Robert Saleh, and now he's doing the same thing in New York. I didn't think the defense was going to look this, and I kept trying to warn you guys, defense is not going to look the same. Field stinks. But I do like that at least he's there to help AG. But apparently that wasn't even enough. And I didn't expect, just because I didn't think the defense was not gonna be as good, I didn't think they was gonna moonwalk, like be so bad. Like, I thought they was gonna take one step back. They moonwalk back, like they're one of the worst defenses in the entire NFL. So I did not expect that. And he had, I've been saying all season, like, Steve Wilkes is public enemy number one, and now finally we got him.
A couple of things here. First off, this is a crazy stat. Rich Cimini had this ready to roll. Steve Wilkes, with him being fired by the Jets, this was the 6th straight job he's had that he's been one and done. That's insane, which it's just crazy. So put that one out there. That's wild.
Yes.
The fact that Steve Wilkes was fired middle of the season or end of the season, right? The fact that he was fired guarantees obviously won't be back next year. Like, Paul, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard you say, which is saying something because I've said a lot of stupid things. But the fact of the matter is that some fear exists in the Jets fan base. Like, are they going to keep Steve Wilkes? Are they going to do the AG Lions thing? Hey, I believe in you, Steve Wilkes. You just need to get your guys in here. And then he brings him back. And then the first 5 games of 2026, it becomes painfully obvious he should have ripped the Band-Aid off with Steve Wilkes. And then all of 2026 gets fucked because you're not going to hire a full-time defensive coordinator in the middle of the season. You're going to promote some random interim and then hire someone else after. And it just screws you moving forward. So the fact that AG did this week is like, well, thank God that guarantees he saw that he made a mistake and he was willing to change it. So I think that's a big piece to the puzzle, because if we would have made it all the way through the season, we'd all be watching on Black Monday. Wilkes, is he fired yet? We don't got to worry about any of that. He gone. But I do want to go to a comment from a fan here, EZ, in all caps. Why get rid of Alan Lazard? Spell check there, but I guess he's not on the team. I guess it doesn't matter. With 3 games left to play, doesn't make any sense. I actually completely disagree. I think it makes all the sense in the world. I wonder what the hell took so long. Okay, here's the thing that makes no sense to me. I think it does make sense, right? So getting rid of Al Lazard. Last week, when the Jets played the Jaguars in blowout fashion, and they had Tanner Engstrand went to I don't know what the play was called, Zebra 4x7. I want this play that he called is designed for Alan Lazard in the red zone. Why the hell were we designing Alan Lazard red zone plays with us at 3-10 and eventually 3-11? Like, why are any Alan Lazard plays in the playbook? The Jets should be playing the young cats. They're out of the playoff mix. They should be. Lazard was not going to be here next year. It would any breath he breathed was wasteful to me. Give it to Aaron.
Damn,
hey,
you're not even allow oxygen. Yo, that's the next level of hate, yo. That's a basic human function. He's not even allowed to breathe. That's crazy.
Give the reps to Arian Smith. Give the reps to, Adonai Mitchell. Give the reps to John Mechie III. To be honest, this should have happened. The moment they got rid of Aaron Rodgers, they should have gotten rid of Alan Lazard. Like, Alan Lazard was only here because we were trying to lure Aaron Rodgers here, and it worked, and we eventually traded for him later in that offseason, signing him to that 4-year deal for $44 million. Alan Lazard, the moment Aaron Rodgers' Achilles exploded, was suddenly a lot less interested in playing for the Jets. And that permeated around the team throughout the entire 2023 season to a point where after the Black Friday game that season, Robert Saleh went up to the podium and questioned the manhood of Alan Lazard, saying, I benched him to see if he still has it inside him. And Josina Anderson follows up, who asked the question, wait, what'd you just say, coach? And then it was already too late. The words were set out in the universe. So it's best for all parties. Lazard gets to go play for a contender unless he gets claimed by someone else, and the Jets get to play the young cats. I think it actually makes unbelievable sense to do it. The only thing that doesn't make sense is it took this long. That's my take. Woody?
All the Lazard slander, I thought we were done addressing this, but to say, it doesn't make sense. I would definitely say it makes sense. I mean, this was Lazard's request as well. Like, he was like, yo, set me free. Let me go to a team that's going to use me. So from his perspective, it makes perfect sense. Why would he want to waste away on the most terrible franchise ever created across all 4 sports? This team is the worst. Why would he want to do that and not even get used on said team? So it makes complete sense for him. And then from the Jets' perspective, you guys got, we got other receivers that we want to look at. There's no way I would be dialing up, red zone targets for 5'5" Arian Smith, but that's probably why they went down. It was already 6'5". I think it makes sense for both parties for sure. Could have happened earlier. I mean, if they wanted to use him, and they did, they used him. What was that Tyrod game? The game that they won was against the Falcons. Alan Lazard had a very super clutch catch on this. What was that? Not a super clutch catch on third down? First down.
It got deflected to him. It wasn't his ball. That was a good catch.
Well, it was up in the air, and there was 2 defenders right there, and he was the one to lunge up. Was he by himself, Boy Green? What are you talking? See that? Yeah, that's what he needs. It makes perfect sense. Because he needs to be free from this toxic hate that he does not deserve. It was a good play, and he made it, and now he can make good plays with a team that is actually worth something instead of the horrific New York Jets.
Let's go to another fan question here. Peter Castro says, Boy Green, Glenn got his orders from Woody, guaranteed. Oh, my God.
Oh, shit.
I don't know where Woody stands on this because we did a whole morning show on this morning. No way. And J-Boy says, yeah. Woody gave him orders for both to cut Alan Lazard and to fire Steve Wilks. Get the hell out of here, okay? I'm not going to influence Woody. Woody has his own opinions. But I'll just say this. Come on, man. Everyone, Stevie Ray Wonder could have seen that Steve Wilks had to go. Come on, man. Steve Wilks was terrible. AG realized he's terrible and nothing's changing and might as well get it over with. We're going to get rid of him. Why not now? He did it. That is not a Woody Johnson thing. AG got a whatever it is, a 5-6 year deal to be the head coach, and Woody made this whole speech of he's the guy, he's making the decisions. Darren Muji was called Aaron Glenn's sidekick. He made this decision. And on the Alan Lazard thing, apparently requested his release. So how's that a Woody thing? That doesn't make any sense. So, and a mutual decision when Alan's like, yeah, I want to get let go. They're like, perfect. We want you to go. Great. See ya. So, yeah, I completely push back on any of the Woody Johnson nonsense. I don't think he had anything to do with either move, quite frankly. What say you, Woody?
I gotta agree. That yeah, Woody's probably not involved. I think he has been true to his word and letting these guys, stumble and bumble and fumble all year. It probably pains him a lot because this team fucking stinks and is just the worst. And they're still raising prices to tickets and season ticket holders, and the parking is $100 and all this type of stuff. So he's still trying to bleed us dry, but the product on the field, which he's not a part of, stinks so much. So I feel like it pains him to not be involved, but I do think he has been true to his word and not been involved. And for the specific things that you just said, did he call Alan Lazard and was like, I need you to request your, come on now. So, yeah, it doesn't even make sense. That doesn't make sense. We want to talk about making sense. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
And again, this other stuff from Peter Castro here says, Boy Green, Glenn got the job because he agreed to get rid of Rodgers. Woody's the boss. Where are you hearing this nonsense from, Peter? I'm glad that you called into the show a couple weeks ago. It's great to have you as a part of the calling in family, but you need to change your news channel then, buddy, because I don't believe any of that bullshit. I don't believe that what he said for every guy who came in, only if you promise to get rid of Rodgers. Okay, I'll do it. All right, the job's yours. Again, that's all malarkey. I don't buy any of that bullshit. And to be honest, I don't want to hear from Rodgers anymore. Good. Rodgers, do whatever the hell you're going to do over there in Pittsburgh. Good for you. Do it. But we've moved on. We've moved on. Go ahead, Woody.
Yeah, I don't know who we've moved on to, but
that's true. Yeah,
we moved on. I guess we've been here for a little bit. I'll say my last question.
Yeah.
And this is for you, Boy Green.
Oh, good. Well, there's only two of us on the show, so I appreciate this question's to me.
Well, I said it's for you. Most of the questions we're trying to answer from the perspective of Aaron Glenn.
Wow, great. Yes. Okay, sure. Yeah.
So this is now purely your perspective.
Shucks. Okay, I'm in.
Are you trying to lose out this season?
Am I trying to lose out this season? No. No, I'm not. And that feeds into what my last question for you was going to be, so we can just put it all on the table here.
Yeah.
I understand. And again, if people want to call me an idiot, this won't be the first time. I've heard it. I literally, definitely won't be last. I totally understand that if the Jets lose out, they have a shot to get the number 1 overall pick. And by virtue, that would put them in the perfect position to take a franchise guy like I'm aware of that. But the fact of the matter is I'm a fan of this team, and I can't control the result. I have no voodoo doll hidden on some other shelf that forces the Jets to lose or win. Because if so, I would have been forcing them to win, and we've already won a Super Bowl, and that's what we'd be celebrating. So I don't have the power to do that. So when I'm in front of this seat and watching that game on that projector behind this camera, I am rooting for the Jets to beat the New Orleans Saints. But again, I will rationalize the result. If the Jets happen to lose to the Saints, great. I'll convince myself, Fernando. I'll convince myself on happier times and glass half full. But I refuse to root for losses. I entertained those waters when I first opened this YouTube channel 5 years ago. That was the Tank for Trevor year. And we're 0-14 and celebrating, for lack of a better word, these losses. And I hated Adam Gase, so I didn't want him there anymore. And there's a lot of stuff. There's some dark times in Boy Green's past. But no, I do not I do not want tanking. I do not want to root for tanking. If it happens, it happens. I'll let the football gods be what the football gods are. If the Jets have wins for AG and I hear more of this,
Who wanna fly with them?
then that's just going to keep firing me up.
What was your question?
My question to you was, what are you rooting for this weekend? Because, fans are split. I've heard a lot of fans say, oh, yeah, get blown out by the New Orleans Saints, because the fans, believe, and I agree with this part of it, that this is the most winnable game left on the Jet schedule. The Bills upsetting New England in New England. Well, technically it wasn't an upset. Bills were a favorite. But Bills beating the Patriots, preventing them from winning the AFC East, makes those games matter even more in the final two. So those both teams will be properly motivated. The Saints are an upstart team with Tyler Shuck, who's showing some chutzpah, but, they have 4 wins. So, yeah, mine was all around the tanking element to finish off the season, but specifically on Sunday. Will you basically be conflicted as you're watching the Jets-Saints game and there's a field goal up in the air? Are you going, is it Falk? Or whatever happens?
No, there's no conflict. I mean, if there was, as a matter of fact, this might actually be the opposite of what you just said. If there was a game that I didn't care if they lost, it would actually be this one. Because this game doesn't mean anything to me. I don't care about the Saints. And I guess if they, are battling for, Fernando, I guess this helps us in that battle. But Tyler Shuck, I don't care. The games after that, I would love to slap the shit out of Josh Allen, slap the shit out of Drake May, fucking, just annihilate Stephon Diggs. And that's what, being a football fan is all about. Like, you got to beat up your division. We're 0-4 right now, and almost all those, I'm trying to think, maybe the first Dolphins wasn't a 2-score game, but the other ones were 2+. Not even close to having a chance. And
New England, I'd give him a chance, I'd say. It
was solid. It wasn't like the Bills blowout or Dolphins blowout.
Right.
But still a 2-score loss. It's a 2-score loss.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be a great team if you're losing, if you're going winless against your division. That's simple. All right. About the draft itself, obviously, high picks are cool, but it's going to be a high pick no matter what. Even if we go 2-3, 3-0, it's still going to be a high pick. Fernando, there's a lot of things, pretty much almost everything off the field that I know about Fernando, I think fits the New York Jets like a glove. But it is pretty scary. It's just, this is like one of the most shallow classes, of all time. And he just happens to be, the guy at the top of the shallow class. Like, that's, Dwayne Haskins energy, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And, we know how his career went. I'm not trying to say, he's going to, that's definitely what's going to happen. But I'm saying, like, that's, right, when you're the top of a deep class, that's when you find your Joe Burrow, so I'm not too bent up about losing Fernando. I think there are other things that can happen at QB that I think would work just as fine, especially given the situation for 2027. What I'm trying to do is win games. I would love to win all 3. But if I had to choose, like if God was like, they have to lose one, you choose. I am choosing the Saints 100 times out of 100 because I don't care. All right, Tyler Shuck. But I don't want the Bills or the Patriots, especially, my cousin Brandon Roberts, always just squeaking at me now. So, yeah, I'm trying to get those dubs for sure.
Quick follow. You said, if they had to lose one and the gods made you pick, you'd pick the Saints. Does it have anything to do with the draft implications involved?
I mentioned 8 cents ago, I guess I said a lot of sentences. But I said, yeah, like that would help, right? But no, I mean, at the heart of it,
Yeah,
it's
that's what I'm
clearly
asking. At the
division.
heart of it. Okay,
It's
yeah,
no,
that's
it's division. Yeah, yeah.
okay.
If I can say
Yeah.
it any clearer, do I need to get a tattoo? No. Come on,
Do you
man.
have any tattoos?
I don't actually. I don't.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Well, hey, you might want to jump on that train. That could be something. My brother actually is a Saints fan, so I'd love nothing more than to smack their candy ass all over the Superdome.
I really,
But
oh man.
yeah, we have an eclectic family, very eclectic. But nonetheless, wow, a lot of news, Woody. Who would have thought 3-11 team? What the hell do you guys talk about every week on Boy Green Meets Woody? Well, tune in, you bastards, and you'll find out. Plenty of news abroad. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Definitely news. Take stats. A whole lot of things that we discuss. And we got a lot more. We got a lot more coming every week. And you know, I hope that one day, like we'll be, talking about, a playoff game,
Whew.
something positive. Shout out to my Knicks. All right, the NBA Cup literally means absolutely nothing, but some people feel like it means something. So the Knicks are playing for it. Let's go. Okay, come on now.
And let me ask you this: if you guys win, are you hanging up a banner?
Did I don't think I know the Lakers did, right? They won the
The
inaugural.
Lakers did. Yes.
But I don't think last year's winner did. I hope not. As a fan of the team, I would hope that they didn't do that. But either way, what it would mean is that the Knicks are one of the better teams in the league. And although I guess we kind of all knew that going in, it's now it's proven on the court. And that's really all I wanted. I'm a Mets fan. I'm a Jets fan. The Jets literally are the worst team in all four professional sports. It is, a horrible thing. And, I see my guy, J Boy, he's broken. He is in the comments right now. He is broken. And I feel it because I feel broken. I can't even be going in public wearing Jets attire without people throwing tomatoes at me. So the Jets, they absolutely stink. The Mets, bro, I don't even know what they're doing. Not even offering Pete Alonso. Like, what are they? I don't know what play, but they got the Steve Wilkes playbook. So just to see the Knicks have a chance to prove to the world that they're a really good basketball team. That's the only thing that allows me to sleep at night.
And Knicks fans, go get Giannis, baby. Go get Giannis. Let's get Greek freaky.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I love the guys that we have in the locker room right now.
Thanks, you. Thanks, Coach. Great answer. Great answer, Coach. Great answer. I feel like I'm on Family Feud. Great answer. Great answer. Great answer. Yeah, there you go. Very nice. So there's nothing else to do, Woody, but give you your flowers, give you the tip of the cap on a brilliant show because obviously that's what you bring to the table. So appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Oh, shit. Damn, look at that. An applause. I feel like I'm on Family Matters or something.
Hey, there we go.
Shout out to Sharon because I do think this is true and not enough Jets fans just because we're just surrounded by losing, so it's hard to remember. But winning does breed winning. You don't want to just every year we're talking about 15 years now. Oh, we're eliminated, just lose out. Like we do that every year. You guys haven't learned, so yeah, let's try to win for once. So shout out to Sharon. Not only with this great quote right here, but of course, Steve Wilkes Booth, something I'll never forget. What Brooklyn is the best? Somebody drug tested.
Yeah, Donald Johnson, Brooklyn is the best. Fuck them Knicks. All right, there you go.
Yeah, drug test that man. But anyway, we will be back Tuesday at 3. Shout out
Thursday.
What is I said Tuesday, yeah. It is Tuesday now at 4, but yes, this was a great episode, and we will be back Thursday at 3. Holla at us, of course, when news drops. You already know Boy Green's out here every day, so he is a man that doesn't stop. But for Take Flight Talk, when news happens, your boy is here commenting, giving 2 cents, sometimes 3 cents, depending on how big the news is, and we'll see you then.
There you go. By the way, just speaking of cents real quick, I just want to give a big salute to Sauce Gardner, who shared his 2 cents on Twitter and then deleted it, then shared his 2 cents again, then deleted it again. So we appreciate whatever sense you give and taketh. I just only wish you would have employed that strategy when he played for the Jets. Taketh maybe an interception or two. Unfortunately, it didn't happen often enough. So, but by the way, Sauce, thank you. Thank you for your service.
Damn. See, that's the worst part about New York fans. Like, they just have no respect for anybody. Sauce wanted to be a lifelong Jet. He didn't leave us. We disrespected him, and now, he gets all the hate. He gets all the disrespect, and then we're confused why people don't want to come play here.
Tough biz. We're a passionate fan base. Sorry, man. All right. Well, Take Flight Talk, people, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. We're literally on every social media platform on the planet, baby. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And again, Thursday, Saints preview, baby. What Hep called the toilet bowl. You can call it whatever name you want, but we will be here to preview all the juicy angles. It should be a fun one. Woodster, you're the best, baby.
Right back at you.